She came into the classroom and picked her up off the cot and said, "Oh, baby, come on, let's go get Dawson and we'll go home."
2 days before her children died, Lindsay Clancy picked up her daughter from preschool. It was January 23rd, 2023. Cora had been to the bathroom several times that afternoon. Her stomach hurt. Her teacher, Susan Bertolo, stopped Lindsay at the classroom door to let her know. Lindsay walked in, lifted Cora off the cot, and said exactly what any mother would say. "Oh, baby, come on, let's go get Dawson and we'll go home." Susan Bertolo had known this family for over 2 years. She was a mandated reporter. She was trained to notice things. She had seen hundreds of children come through that classroom and hundreds of parents pick them up.
Just for the record, we do the same objection.
Okay, thank you. Same rule.
She noticed nothing. That single moment, a tired mother, a sick little girl, a classroom door, would later be entered into the record of a murder trial. The case of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy began, on its surface, as a case about what happened on the night of January 24, 2023, inside a home at 47 Summer Street in Duxbury, Massachusetts. But the trial that unfolded in the Plymouth County Superior Court revealed something far more complicated than a single night. It revealed a woman that almost no one around her could fully see. Not her pediatrician, not her friends, not her father-in-law, not her preschool teachers, and arguably not her doctors. What Lindsay Clancy told the people around her before that night is the question that sits at the center of everything. And the answer is both more and less than you might expect. Kimberly Springer had been a medical examiner for 20 years when she took the stand. She had performed over...
60. Hold on, let me just... members of the jury, I just want to give you, kind of revisit that instruction that I talked to you last week about. If you may remember, we talked about before they played that tape. All right? I just want to remind you that sometimes evidence is presented in the trial that creates emotional reactions. But as jurors who've taken an oath to follow the law, I'm instructing you, as I did last week, you must separate any emotional reaction on your part from the informational value and the weight from the evidence. You must not be influenced in any way by the unpleasant nature of the photographs and testimony that you're going to hear this morning or throughout the whole trial as well. So you must find the facts in this case based only on the evidence. But you can't find those facts or base those facts on sympathy, anger, passion, prejudice, or pity against either side. So I appreciate that. I just kind of wanted to remind you of that. And with that...
For 2,000 autopsies. On January 29th, 2023, she performed one on an 8-month-old boy named Colin Patrick Clancy. She described what she found with clinical precision. Abrasions on the front of the neck. Abrasions on the right side, more along the left. A mark on the forehead near the hairline. Small dot like hemorrhages beneath the skin of his face and eyelids. What medical examiners call petechiae. Evidence of significant medical intervention tubes, catheters, lines placed by hospital staff fighting to keep him alive for 3 days. He measured 26 inches long. He weighed 24 pounds. The cause of death was complications of mechanical asphyxia. The word, complications, in that phrase did not mean anything went wrong at the hospital. It meant the ligature strangulation had caused his death. He simply did not die immediately. His heart had been...
Yeah. So basically, is it similar to a balloon filling up, but it's not air, it's blood and pressure in the face?
Yes.
And so when that pressure gets too great, is it that the capillaries are basically bursting and causing those little red marks?
Yes. Most texts say capillaries, some say venules, the small blood vessels.
And how is it that this process, the strangulation by ligature, causes death physically? How does it physically happen?
So the blockage of blood, either both to and from the head or just from the head, will cause a lack of oxygen to arrive at the brain. And there can be an element of airway compression as well, such that the lungs can't oxygenate properly. So that lack of oxygen is what causes the brain to die and the organs to fail.
And based on your examination of Callan, did you come to a determination based on your training and experience to a reasonable degree of medical certainty as to the cause of his death?
Yes.
And what was that?
Complications of mechanical asphyxia.
And why is it complications of mechanical asphyxia instead of just the asphyxia itself?
Because he was resuscitated, and so his heart began to beat again. So from the 24th to the 27th, there was a continuation of support of his organs to in the hospital. And so if he had a stopped heart at the scene, and in that case I would have just said mechanical asphyxia, but since there was a 3-day hospital stay, I said complications of mechanical asphyxia.
So the word complications doesn't mean that something happened at the hospital to cause his death. It's just that the strangulation caused his death, but he didn't die for a few days.
Restarted at the scene. He lived for 2 more hours before his organs failed. Dr. Springer testified to all of this without drama. She explained the...
960.
Hold on, let me just, members of the jury, I just want to give you, kind of revisit that instruction that I talked to you last week about. If you may remember, we talked about before they played that tape, all right? I just want to remind you that sometimes evidence is presented in the trial that creates emotional reactions. But as jurors who've taken an oath to follow the law, I'm instructing you, as I did last week, you must separate any emotional reaction on your part from the informational value and the weight from the evidence. You must not be influenced in any way by the unpleasant nature of the photographs and testimony that you're going to hear this morning or throughout the whole trial as well. So you must find the facts in this case based only on the evidence. But you can't find those facts or base those facts on sympathy, anger, passion, prejudice, or pity.
Physiology of how a ligature compresses the jugular veins, backs up blood pressure in the head, and ruptures the tiny capillaries beneath the skin. She explained it the way a physician explains anything, methodically, precisely, without inflection. Before she testified, Judge William Sullivan paused to remind the jury of something. He told them that what they were about to see would create emotional reactions, that their job required them to separate those reactions from the weight of the evidence, that they could not decide facts based on sympathy, anger, passion, or pity. For a jury, that is an extraordinary instruction to absorb. And then the photographs appeared on the screen. The trial moved on. Dr. Lindsay Rayshard had been the Clancy family's pediatrician since approximately 2019. She had seen all 3 children for their well visits and had access to records from sick visits they made with others.
Yes. And as you stated earlier, prior to seeing her for the physical, did you look over her chart to see if she had been in recently with any illnesses or anything like that?
Yes, I would have done that.
And so would you have seen this note when her mother brought her in on December 27th, 2022, with some vomiting and sore throat?
Yes.
And again, if there had been concerns at that appointment, they would have been noted in the record?
Yes.
And then as the pediatrician, if you'd seen some concerns, would you have addressed them with the parent?
Yes.
And that didn't happen on January 24th, correct?
Correct.
And speaking specifically to January 24th, 2023, that was Cora's 5-year physical, is that right?
Yes.
And sometimes in the record it's called a well visit?
Yes.
And what were your observations of Cora that day?
As far as I can recall, it was a very normal visit. Cora seemed to be behaving normally. I mean, no kid's happy to be there for a checkup, but I didn't notice anything out of the norm. She seemed perfectly well behaved, and Mom seemed appropriate as well.
Mom seemed appropriate?
Yes.
Did you notice anything out of the ordinary about Lindsay Clancy's demeanor or behavior or interaction with you?
No.
Was she able to give you a history of how Cora was doing and what milestones she was meeting?
Yes.
Was she able to answer your questions?
Yes.
Did you have any trouble understanding her at any point?
No.
Did she seem to have any trouble understanding you?
No.
Did she have, visible tears or a flat affect or anything like that?
No.
Did you have a discussion with Lindsay Clancy about Cora having some stomach aches?
Yes.
And what was your evaluation of that and your recommendation?
So we talked about the belly pain she was having. From what I could tell, I thought constipation might be possible. It's something we see a lot in kids. So I had suggested we try Miralax, which is a common stool softener we use, and wanted her to see me within 2 weeks if Cora wasn't feeling better.
Okay. And when you recommended the Miralax, was Lindsay Clancy receptive to that?
Yes, I believe so.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Providers in the practice. On January 24th, 2023, the same day the children died, she had seen 5-year-old Cora for her annual physical. She described it as a completely normal visit. Cora behaved normally. Lindsay was appropriate, engaged, and able to answer every question. She showed no flat affect, no visible tears, no trouble communicating. Dr. Rashard had not known that Lindsay was already seeing a psychiatrist. She had not known about the Zoloft prescription. She had not known about the nurse practitioner who had taken over Lindsay's care when the first doctor left the practice. She had not known about the emergency room visit. She had not known that Lindsay had called a suicide hotline.
And again, you're the pediatrician. It's not your job to pry. I mean, if you see something, you would make note of it and try to help them out. But I mean, if they don't tell you, you don't know, right? Did you know, fair to say that you didn't know that she was then seeing a Dr. Paul, and then Paul left the practice and nurse practitioner Gelada?
I didn't know that.
Okay. Do you know them?
No.
The only reason why I ask if you know them is that South Shore Medical Center, is that affiliated with South Shore Hospital?
I believe it was already owned by the hospital at that time.
Okay. Latasha Dukes, nothing about her?
No.
Any medications? Did you know about her being on any medications?
No, I didn't.
She didn't complain to you and say that she had insomnia and that she was unable to sleep or having difficulty like that?
Not that I can remember.
Did you know that she called the suicide hotline twice towards the end of December?
Objection. Overruled.
I did not know that.
Okay. Did you know that she had been to Mass General Hospital and then ultimately on New Year's of 2022 into 2023 self-admitted to McLean Mental Institution?
I didn't know that.
So when you saw her on January 24th, you did not know that she had been to McLean Hospital and had been on medications or anything, right?
That's correct.
Because again, she wasn't a complainer.
Correct.
She was a hell of a mother, wasn't she?
I always thought she was a good mom.
Thank you.
Redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Twice in late December. She had not known that Lindsay had voluntarily admitted herself to McLean Hospital on New Year's of 2023. None of that had been shared with the pediatrician. Defense attorney Kevin Reddington asked the doctor a pointed question near the end of cross-examination. She was a hell of a mother, wasn't she? Dr. Rashard answered without hesitation. I always thought she was a good mom. The preschool teachers who followed told variations of the same story. Susan Fraun had taught Dawson in the 3- and 4-year-old room at Learning Sprouts in Duxbury.
Yep. And do you recall who dropped her off?
I do not.
Did you notice anything different about Cora that day?
Yes.
And what was different?
She needed to use the bathroom several times more than she normally would.
And is there a reason why that kind of stood out to you, that she used the bathroom more than often?
Yes, because our classroom did not have a bathroom in it, so we would go down at scheduled times before snack or lunch, and if a child needed to go, one of us would take that child, and that particular day, she went several times extra.
And so between you and Karen, you were kind of taking her more often to the bathroom. Was she complaining of any belly pain or any other issues?
She didn't complain.
But the fact that she asked to use the bathroom was of note to you.
Yes.
And when Cora transitioned that afternoon to go to the sweet pea room with Stephanie, did you pass along those observations to the afternoon teacher?
Yes, I did, because that was something that you would want a parent to know. It was unusual.
And during that morning group, you didn't feel it was necessary to reach out to either Patrick or Lindsay to report that, did you?
No.
But you reported it to Stephanie to pass along for the afternoon?
Correct.
And on that particular afternoon, were you at Learning Sprouts during pickup time?
Yes, I was.
And that wasn't always the case, was it?
Not every day, but I often would help out in the toddler room if they needed me to stay. And that is what I had done that afternoon.
So on that particular afternoon at pickup time, did you have the occasion to see Lindsay Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And did you have an opportunity to speak with her?
Yep, we spoke quickly, and I just was letting her know. And she did already know, but we just spoke quickly that she had gone a few times.
So you were letting her know about Cora going to the bathroom?
Correct.
And how did she respond when you told her that?
She said, I don't remember exactly the words, but basically that she wasn't glad that she wasn't feeling well, but she already had a doctor's appointment the next day so that she would let them know.
And that interaction was fairly brief, correct?
Correct.
But appropriate?
Yep.
And they left that day?
Yep.
Did you notice anything different about Lindsay Clancy after you told her that or in that brief interaction than any of your other interactions with her?
No.
And you are a mandated reporter at the preschool?
Correct.
So if a child were to come in with any concerning marks or bruises or was saying something about things that were happening in the household, you would be required to report those to the Department of Children and Families?
Yes.
Any concerns or reports regarding the Clancy family at all during the time that you were Cora's teacher?
Never.
And do you recall if Cora ever mentioned to you during class, during the time that you were teaching in the morning classes, a time when her mom was in the hospital?
Yes.
And what do you recall about that?
Just that she missed her mom, and she was vocal about that.
Do you remember about when that was that she said something about her mom being in the hospital?
It was I can't remember if it was in December or January. I just remember it was said.
But fair to say it was closer in time to the last time you saw her as opposed to the beginning of the school year?
Yes.
Just to briefly go back to Cora's schedule, I know you say you can't remember exactly which days she came, but by January of 2023, Cora was coming for 3 full days and 1 half day, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Reddington.
No questions.
September of 2022. She had gone on maternity leave in November. After she returned, she ran into Lindsay at the school. They had a brief conversation about the new baby. Lindsay asked how Susan's child was doing. Nothing seemed wrong. Susan Bertolo had been Cora's teacher in the Sunflower classroom. She saw Cora 3 mornings a week and occasionally more. She communicated with the Clancy parents through an app called Class Dojo. Of the 2 parents, she recalled that Lindsay was the more responsive one. Always. Stephanie Williams had Cora in the afternoons in the sweet pea room. She described Cora as a sweet little girl who loved her brother, loved to draw, and loved Princess Sophia. Stephanie had actually bought Cora a Princess Sophia puzzle because she knew how much it meant to her. On January 23rd.
Now, I'm going to draw your attention to January of 2023, more specifically the 23rd. Did Cora come to your classroom that afternoon?
Yes, she did.
And did you observe anything different about her?
She hadn't been feeling well, and the teachers from the Sunflower class had told me that she wasn't feeling that well.
Did you observe that of her as well?
Well, she did nap, and then she, when all the other children were getting up and getting ready to leave, for the day, she was reluctant to get up off her cot and was still there when her mother came to get her.
Did Cora say anything to you why she wasn't feeling well, if she just felt...
I think she just said her tummy hurt.
Okay. And so you just kind of let her rest for the afternoon? And so who picked her up that day?
Lindsay.
And so normally in pickup, does a parent come to the classroom to pick up the child?
They usually come to the door and we send the child out.
And that would just be the door of the classroom, not the building?
Because I had a door that led outside.
Okay. So on this particular afternoon, Lindsay Clancy came to pick Cora up at the door. And so what, if anything, did you tell Lindsay?
I told her that Cora had napped and she had said she wasn't feeling well, that the other teachers had told me that she hadn't been feeling well and that she was still laying on her cot.
And what did Lindsay say or do after you told her that?
She came into the classroom and picked her up off the cot and said, "Oh, baby, come on, let's go get Dawson and we'll go home."
And so at that moment, when she came to the classroom, she hadn't already picked Dawson up?
No, she went upstairs to pick Dawson up.
When she came into the classroom and told you that and picked up Cora, did you notice anything different about her than any of the other times you had interacted with her?
No.
In any of the time that you had interacted with Lindsay Clancy from September of 2022 to January 23rd of 2023, did you notice anything different about her?
No, she was just a very loving mother who cared about her children.
And did she share anything with you about her family or about anything that was going on in her household at that time?
No.
And you, as a preschool teacher, are a mandated reporter, correct?
Yes, I am.
So if you were to observe something either on the child or from what the child said or behavior of a parent, you would be required to report that?
Yes, I
And
would.
as far as the Clancy family went, you didn't notice anything and you didn't report anything, did you?
No.
Cora had napped in Stephanie's room and was reluctant to get up. When Lindsay arrived, she walked in, picked Cora up off the cot, and said she was going to get Dawson and take the kids home. Stephanie Williams had known Lindsay Clancy since September of 2022. She had never noticed anything alarming. She was a mandated reporter. She had never made...
It was a restaurant in Hingham. We met for lunch.
And when you met with her for lunch in November of 2022, did Ms. Clancy talk to you about some issues she was having with sleep and anxiety?
Yes, she did.
What did she tell you about that?
During the lunch specifically, I don't remember her exact symptoms. Our conversation surrounded her upcoming return to work, and Lindsay was feeling that she wasn't in a mental state ready to go and take care of patients. She talked about insomnia and some not feeling herself. I believe she might have used the words like brain fog or something like that.
And while you were having lunch with her and having this discussion, did you ever have any trouble understanding what she was saying?
No.
Did she ever appear to have difficulty understanding what you were saying in response?
No.
Was there anything different about her speech pattern?
Not that I recall.
When you were discussing these issues with Lindsay about having some insomnia and being concerned about going back to work, did you give her any advice or do anything to help?
Yes, it was myself and two other nurses that we work with who Lindsay was friends with outside of work, and we were all encouraging her to get the help and support that she needed with medication if needed and therapists, and giving her any ideas we could think of in our personal and professional lives that may help her.
Okay. And did Lindsay tell you that she was looking to find some type of medication that would help her sleep and help her with her anxiety?
Yes, I believe we talked about medication, and she was going to be meeting with a new therapist shortly.
And during this conversation or after it happened, did you ever have any concerns about her harming herself?
No.
Did you ever have any concerns about her harming the children?
No.
Did you give her some names of obstetrics or social workers?
I did. After our lunch, I recall that I reached out to another friend of mine who had a pregnancy loss that was challenging for her and had met with obstetrical specific social workers and support groups, and I asked that woman, could you share those names? And I sent them to Lindsay.
Okay. Did you have some text messages between yourself and Lindsay around Thanksgiving of 2022 in which she told you about a program she was going to try?
We did have text messages around Thanksgiving. I believe the program you're referring to was something that her mother-in-law had told her about at South Shore Hospital that was more specific to perinatal issues rather than a general social worker, someone who specialized in this area.
What does perinatal mean?
During pregnancy, birth, and after birth.
So this was a program more focused on women either during their pregnancy, while birth, during birth, or right after birth, as far as you know?
I mean, as far as I understood it, I just understood it to mean someone who was familiar more with postpartum depression or anxiety, was my understanding.
Okay. And did you also receive some text messages from Lindsay Clancy right after New Year's on January 2nd, 2023?
Yes, I did.
And can you tell us what that exchange was?
Again, that was with myself and Lindsay and the two other nurses who she had confided in, and we asked her how her holidays were and could we get together again in the new year. And she said, I can't get together right now because I'm involved in an intensive program, but hopefully soon.
Okay. And did she wish you a Happy New Year?
She may have, I do not recall.
And did she tell you that she was, in fact, at that time at McLean Hospital, or did she just leave it more vague that it was just an intense program?
I believe it was an intense program. I did not know the name of the facility at that time.
Did you at that time know that she was currently at a hospital?
I don't recall what I knew then versus what I know now.
Did you also speak with Lindsay on January 23rd, 2023?
I did not speak to Lindsay. I sent her a text message on January 23rd.
And what did you say in your text message?
I'm paraphrasing, but I believe I said, hi, I've been thinking of you, wondering if you're still in the daily program, I believe I said. So maybe I didn't realize it was inpatient. And she responded.
And what was her response?
Again, I'm paraphrasing, but she said something like, I'm no longer in the program. I'm continuing to work with my psychiatrists to find the right medication that will allow me to sleep at night but still function during the day. I've had a lot of bad or negative side effects from the medication, so I've had to come off of them and go on new ones, and it's been very difficult. Okay. Or has taken a long time or something like that.
Okay. And after those text messages that were exchanged on the 23rd, did you have any concerns that she was going to harm herself?
No.
The tone of the text messages, were they more positive and hopeful that things were going to work out on the right medications?
I don't know that they were more positive than previous times. I believe that Lindsay was always hopeful that she would get the care that she was seeking, so I don't know that the tone was different that day.
But it wasn't a negative tone, it was that same kind of hopeful tone?
Yes, as far as I remember.
The report. 3 teachers, 3 different classrooms, all said the same thing. Andrea Hennigan had known Lindsay for 7 years. They had worked together in labor and delivery at Massachusetts General Hospital. She was also a friend. She testified about seeing Lindsay at her home in June of 2022, just after Colin was born. Lindsay seemed like herself. The visit lasted about 2 hours. In November of 2022, they met for lunch at a restaurant in Hingham. 3 nurses gathered.
Was she a good nurse? Was she a caring nurse? Tell us what your observations were. Granted that you're a friend and you might be biased, but tell us what you thought.
Yes. Lindsay loved being a nurse and was excellent at it. it was a second degree for her to go to nursing school. And you could tell with Lindsay, it was more of a calling that she really cared so deeply, specifically about caring for pregnant women and women giving birth. She was very attentive to all of her patients' needs. She was very smart, and mostly she was incredibly nurturing and caring.
Thank you. And during the period of time in the fall of 2022 up through Thanksgiving of 22 and then into 23, you obviously, as a good friend, stayed in close contact with her, texting, seeing her, dinner, lunches, and everything, right?
Yes.
And then when you and some of the other nurses would go to a lunch, for example, if I understand correctly, on one of the luncheons that you had in the fall of 22, she was telling or sharing with you the fact that she was going through a difficult period.
Yes.
Told you that she was not in a good mental state, that she had a lot of insomnia, and she even described it as brain fog, right?
Yes, I believe so. She definitely used those words in our text messages, as the fall progressed, but I believe she used those words during the lunch. She definitely said that she was in a difficult mental place and didn't think she'd be able to go back to work.
And she told you that she was actually actively treating with medical personnel. Did she say a psychiatrist, psychologist, or just seeing doctors, or what did she say?
Yes. She talked about therapists. She talked about going on medication. At some point in that month of November, she said she had even gone to the emergency department.
Did she tell you that she was having negative side effects with the medication that she had been prescribed by these doctors?
She did. She did not elaborate on the side effects, but she did say that multiple times.
So as close as you were for all those years working together, and you guys worked together through the COVID too, right?
Yes.
Is that a bonding experience for nurses?
Yes.
During that period of time, did you ever observe her? Was she a complainer? Like, would she come and complain to you, or was she pretty much private but would share her opinions of what was happening inside of her with you?
She was not a complainer about work or home or anything, but we were friends, and she did share more personal details with me.
And when she was working, would you guys be working on the night shift, or would you work in the afternoon? Or
the night shift?
Night shift.
Mm-hmm.
So did you ever see her go on her phone and access cameras to see what was going on at home with the babies or anything like that?
Yes.
Is that something that she would do on a regular basis, staying in touch with the family and looking at the cameras?
Yes.
Did she ever tell you why she was doing that?
Not specifically.
Okay. She, to your appearance or to your observation, appeared to be very concerned about her kids, right?
Yes.
Did you ever hear her complain that she wanted to leave behind the life that she had and basically move on, something better?
Oh, no. Lindsay, from the time I met her as a young woman, very much desired to be a mother and have a family.
And she did share with you that her mother-in-law actually referred her to somebody for some help as well, correct?
Yes.
In the holiday period, you guys stayed in touch again. You were texting her, and that's when she was, now we know she was in McLean Hospital, but she told you she was in an intensive program, right?
Correct.
In other words, she didn't say, I can't go to lunch with you guys because I'm in a mental hospital. She basically said, I'm treating my problems.
Correct.
To your years of dealing with Lindsay and seeing her with her kids and her family, what's your opinion of her as a mother?
Lindsay was a very loving, caring mother. This is exactly what she wanted to have. She wanted a big family. She was happy to have her children close in age.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, read together. That was when Lindsay first opened up about what was happening. She talked about insomnia. She described something that sounded like brain fog. She said she did not feel ready to go back and care for patients in the mental state she was in. The 3 nurses spent that lunch doing what nurses do. They gave her resources. They encouraged her to get help. They talked about medication. They gave her names of obstetric social workers who specialized in postpartum care. Andrea later texted Lindsay those names after reaching out to another friend who had used similar services. On January 23, 2023, Andrea sent Lindsay a text message asking how the program was going. Lindsay responded. She said she was no longer in the program. She said she was still working with her psychiatrist to find the right medication, one that would let her sleep at night without making her unable to function during the day. She said the side effects had been severe, that she had been taken off medications and put on new ones, that it had taken a very long time. The tone of the message, Andrea testified, was hopeful. Not more hopeful than usual. Just the same kind of hopefulness that had been there all along. Andrea had no concerns about Lindsay harming herself after that exchange. She had no concerns about Lindsay harming her children. Bethany DeCalaba.
Did she tell you during that time that she was having trouble sleeping?
Yes.
And did she give you any specifics on that?
Just that it was very difficult to get sleep, difficult to fall asleep even when kids were asleep, and that it was just it was an ongoing struggle.
Did that cause concern for you at that point?
I think for a period of time, it felt normal, but after it seemed to continue and not let up for her, I definitely worried about her and was concerned.
When you say it seemed normal, what do you mean by that at first?
I would say for a period of time seemed reminiscent of, sleep troubles that, I remember having and that, remember friends talking about. But I think over time, I started to worry more and realized that it wasn't improving for her.
And what you're talking about, is it, typically after having a baby, new moms are tired from, late night feedings and changings and all of that?
Yes.
And then with Lindsay, she stayed tired?
Yes.
Okay. Did she talk to you about seeking out help from doctors?
She did.
And did she talk to you about seeking out medication to help?
Yes.
And do you recall any specifics about those conversations, about what types of doctors or what types of medication she was seeking?
I don't know about the different types of doctors or the types of medications.
Did you ever talk to her and she relayed that she was looking to find a therapist?
Yes.
And do you know if she ever found a therapist?
At some point, it did sound like she had found a provider to work with.
Being a therapist yourself, did you ever offer to give some referrals or anything like that, or did she ask for any?
I can't remember.
And you said that she continued to appear tired, correct?
Yes.
But other than appearing tired, as the weeks went by, did you observe her having any problem interacting with people or doing the typical behaviors that you would do at the events you would usually see her at?
No.
Did she appear to have any trouble doing day-to-day tasks or interacting with anyone?
Not that I saw.
Did she ever tell you that she was depressed or suicidal?
No.
Did she ever tell you that she had thoughts of harming anyone else?
No.
Did her physical appearance change in any way?
Not that I noticed.
When you would engage with her, have conversations with her, were they usually in person or text or both?
It was a mix of both.
And did you ever have trouble understanding her, either in person or in a text?
No.
Did she ever appear to have trouble understanding you?
No.
At some point in time, did you have dinner with Lindsay and a woman named Erin Renault sometime in November?
Yes.
And was that something that the three of you typically did?
Yes.
How often would you do that?
Probably once every couple of months.
Was this the first time you'd done that since Callan was born?
I can't remember.
Okay. And what was Lindsay's demeanor during that dinner?
She was engaged in conversation with us.
Do you recall saying previously that she seemed normal?
No.
You don't recall saying that?
Not specifically, no.
What about her speech pattern? Was there anything different about her speech pattern?
No.
What did you guys talk about during that dinner?
I remember catching up as we usually did, giving each other updates on, what our kids had been up to, what our families had been up to. And I also made it a point to check in with her about how her sleep was and how she had been feeling lately.
And did she give you responses to those questions?
She did.
Did they make sense?
The responses made sense.
Yeah. What was the tone of this conversation?
I'm not sure how to answer that question.
Well, when you're asking her about how things are going with her sleep and other things, and she's responding, does she seem negative and depressed about things? Does she seem hopeful about things? Like, what's the tone?
It was a serious conversation. I was concerned and wanted to check in. It had sounded like she had been able to connect with some providers, and I would say at that point, I remember her expressing feeling hopeful about the possibility that things could start to get better.
And during this conversation at dinner, did she ever mention that she had suicidal thoughts?
No.
Did she ever mention that she had homicidal thoughts?
No.
Did she ever tell you that she was hearing voices?
No.
Did she ever tell you that she was having intrusive thoughts of her own?
No.
At any point in time while you're engaging with her, did it look like she was responding to something internally, like a voice, or seeing something that wasn't there?
No.
Other than having an issue with sleep, did she mention any other issues that she was having?
She mentioned feeling anxious.
And after this dinner, did you next see her at Cora's birthday party in January?
Yes.
And at that birthday party, did you see her interacting with other people and parents and children, as a mom would usually do at a birthday party?
Yes.
Did you interact with her yourself?
I did.
Did you notice anything different about her demeanor or her behavior at that party?
No.
Did you have a conversation with her briefly about sleep?
I did.
And was it you basically asking how the sleep issue was going?
Yes.
And what was her response?
She responded that things haven't gotten any better and that she feels like a zombie.
Was there anything about her appearance or the way she was interacting or behaving that when you saw her, you thought she looks like a zombie?
She seemed tired.
But there's a difference between being tired and looking like a zombie, right?
She didn't look like a zombie, no.
And she was able to engage with you and the other parents there, engage with her children and the other children, correct?
She was.
Had known Lindsay through their children. They were friends in Duxbury. Both had young kids around the same ages. They saw each other weekly at music classes, gymnastics classes, playdates. Bethany was a licensed marriage and family therapist. After Callan was born, she noticed Lindsay seemed more tired. Over time, she began to worry that the exhaustion was not lifting. Lindsay had told her about the sleep trouble, about the difficulty falling asleep even when the kids were down. She had told her about seeking medication, about finding a therapist, about working with providers. At a dinner in November with two friends, Lindsay described feeling hopeful that things were going to get better. At Cora's birthday party in January, Bethany asked how the...
Do you recall stating previously that at the party she seemed fine?
And no, not specifically.
Page 11. Have you look at page 11 and bottom line 24, and then to the top of page 12. Does that refresh your memory as to a conversation you had with the police back in 2023 where you said that she seemed fine at the party?
Sure, yeah.
I have no other questions. Thank you.
Mr. Bennington.
So, Morning.
Morning.
Fair to say that you were obviously pretty good friends with Lindsay?
Yes.
And fair to say that in that regard, you had occasion to observe objectively things like she looked tired, she was complaining that she was tired.
Yes.
Said that she was anxious.
Yes.
Told you that at one point towards the end time frame into January that she felt like a zombie. Correct?
Yes.
Did you ask her any questions like the district attorney was asking you? Did you ask her, well, what are your symptoms and what do you feel like? And what do you is there anything that you can tell me about how you feel? Did you probe in that regard?
I don't remember probing about specific symptoms, no.
So in other words, you're friends and you and Erin and Lindsay were out to dinner or lunch and you're trying to have a good time, right?
Yes.
How was she as a mother to your observations? Did she, as far as taking care of her kids, being happy with the kids? Did she not like her kids? What were your observations?
She loved her kids. She was warm, kind, consistent, loving.
And you actually were summoned to be here today by the district attorney's office, correct?
I was.
And you actually were interviewed by the state police. That's what she was questioning you about, page 11 and page 12. It was a recorded interview and things of that nature, right?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that although she may not have been telling you that she was seeing something that wasn't there, or hearing voices or drooling or acting in some unusual fashion while you guys were out having lunch, she did express to you that she was having some difficulties, correct?
She expressed that she was having difficulty, yes.
And would you say, knowing Lindsay as you did, that she was a type that was not really a complainer? She would not try to be a downer when you're out to lunch and having a good time with your friends and complain about her symptoms?
No.
But she did tell you that she was somewhat hopeful because she was seeing health care providers?
Yes.
And one of the things that they had asked you about, fair to say that when you talked to the police, you told them that you had spent a lot of time chatting about over this period of time that she had been having a lot of trouble sleeping, and that she referenced the postpartum period, right?
Yes.
And when you were talking to the police, the troopers, did they try to divert you? Did you feel that they were trying to get what your observations were, or did they want you to focus on their questions when they were questioning you?
Could you repeat that question?
No, it's a bad question. Never mind. It's a bad question. I'm sorry. But nevertheless, you actually told them that you had been in touch with her. You'd been to the house, right?
I had been in touch with her, yes.
Yeah, and you knew Patrick.
Yes.
Other than socializing with your friends and with Erin and going out to lunches, you guys would also text, correct?
Yes.
I mean, that's a way of keeping in touch with each other.
Yes.
And she would respond to your inquiries about fun things and about kids, right?
Yes.
But also, on occasion, you were concerned about her and you'd ask her how she's doing, right?
Yes.
And when you would ask her those things, she would tell you, for example, that she didn't know what medications were doing to her, but she in fact mentioned to you that the medications did not appear as though they were helping, and she still wasn't able to get any sleep.
Correct.
And further, in the statements that you gave to the police when they were asking you questions about your observations, she did indicate on a couple of occasions that she had obtained a therapist and a prescriber, and she would reference her relationship with Pat and tell you that Pat's great, things like that, right?
Yes.
You said yes. I'm sorry, the door closed. So in those occasions, did she ever complain about Pat, or would they seem to be getting along pretty good?
They seem to be getting along great.
Was he supportive to your observations of her?
Yes.
Then when you went out to the other dinner, did you indicate to the police that in that conversation that her mother knows everything, or she told you my mom knows everything, and She's working it out as far as the therapist and the drugs, correct?
Yes.
And you still felt that it was readily apparent that she was struggling, right?
Yes.
Still having difficulty sleeping and being anxious, right?
Yes.
And as a friend, you were concerned, right?
I was concerned, yes.
Now, one of the questions the DA had asked you is that she was supposed to go back to work, and that she indicated that she had canceled that date to go back to work because she still wasn't sleeping well. Is that right?
She had, yes.
And those were her words, that she canceled going back to work because she still wasn't sleeping well.
Yes.
Did she ever talk to you about work? Did she seem to like her job as a labor and delivery nurse?
She loved it, as far as I knew.
And then you were at Cora's birthday party in January, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was the one that was at the trampoline park, right?
Yes.
And it was that time, and that would have been in January of 23, I believe, that it was in that time that you were concerned and you said, hey, are you getting any sleep? And she was like, no, I feel like a zombie, is what her words were, correct?
Yes.
Is that the last time you saw her?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Sleep was going. Lindsay said she felt like a zombie. But she was standing at a trampoline park. She was interacting with other parents and children. She was engaged. She did not look like a zombie. Bethany would later tell
In January of 2023 about some issues that Lindsay was having.
Yes.
And do you recall when those messages started?
I don't recall the exact date of the messages, but it was only, I believe, one night.
And in terms of what happened on January 24th, 2023, how close in time was it to that?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
So in terms of January 24th, 2023, when the children were killed, how close in time were your text messages to that incident?
Only a few days.
Okay. And what was that text conversation?
She had shared that she had been taking a medication that caused her to have some dark thoughts, but that she was going to, or had been tapering off that medication and was trialing new ones that would remove those side effects and be more helpful and therapeutic to what she needed.
And did she tell you what those dark thoughts were?
No.
What was the tone of the conversation?
Hopeful, I would categorize it. I remember it being something where there was conveying of hope and that it was going to be we were moving in a positive direction.
So basically, would it be fair to say that Lindsay was telling you that she'd had some side effects and some dark thoughts because of medication, but was weaning off of those and moving on to something else that would hopefully help her?
Yes.
Did she ever express at any point that she wanted to harm herself?
No.
Did she ever express that she wanted to harm the children?
No.
Did she ever tell you that she was hearing voices?
No.
Other than saying that she had had some bad thoughts, did she say anything else that was concerning in that conversation?
No.
I want to direct your attention to March of 2023. Did you visit Miss Clancy while she was at the Spalding Rehabilitation Facility?
Yes.
And how was that arranged?
At the request of one of her family members who reached out to see if I would like to come visit.
And you traveled to Massachusetts and visited Lindsay at the Spalding Rehab Center, is that right?
Yes.
And what did you do there with Lindsay that day?
We made small talk. We played Uno. It was a pretty basic visit.
When you say you made small talk, what did she talk about?
I remember her asking about my daughter. I remember her asking about any updates to life events for our friends. We talked about some hobbies that she was doing while at Spalding and then played a game.
Do you remember what hobbies she was doing at Spalding?
I can't recall specifically, no.
At any point in time, did she mention the death of her children?
No.
at any point in time did she break down in tears and cry about her children?
No.
What was her affect during that meeting?
I don't remember exactly. Pretty neutral, I would say.
Did she attempt at any point to harm herself?
No.
Did she ask you for help in harming herself?
No.
Did she talk about Cora, Dawson, or Callan at all?
No.
I have nothing further, thank you.
Police, she seemed fine at the party. Several days before January 24th, Amy Bevins received a text message from Lindsay. They had been friends for nearly 29 years. They had known each other since elementary school in Connecticut. Lindsay told her that a medication she had been taking had caused dark thoughts. She said she was tapering off that medication. She was moving to something new, something that would be more helpful. She did not say what the dark thoughts were. Amy described the tone as hopeful. Lindsay did not say she wanted to harm herself. She did not say she wanted to harm her children. None of the people around her, not the friend she had known since she was a child, not the nurse she had worked beside for 7 years.
She seemed a little, how do you say it? Let me think for a minute. She seemed quiet.
Okay. And did she seem to interact with everyone there as she normally would?
Yeah, she was very close with my daughters and her sister-in-law.
Do you recall them wearing coordinating shirts that day?
I think so.
And during dinner that day, did you make observations of Lindsay getting the kids settled down for dinner?
I did.
And did you see her interact with Dawson?
Yes, I did.
And can you describe that interaction, please?
Mm-hmm. She was getting a little frustrated. Dawson was being a little silly, and she was trying to get him to sit down. And she was just a little bit getting frustrated with him, and I noticed it, so I got up to help her.
And when you saw her getting frustrated with him, did you see her do something to get him seated?
She took him by the arm to get him seated. It wasn't anything crazy.
Right.
You know.
It's not like she hit him or anything like that.
No.
Right? She just took his arm and guided him to the seat. Is that correct?
Correct.
But you could see that she was frustrated. Correct?
I could.
And so you stepped in to help her, right?
Correct.
And what did you do to help?
I got her a plate, I believe. There were a lot of people, so it was just a little chaotic.
Now, directing your attention to the weekend before Christmas 2022, did you stop by their home that weekend?
I believe we did, yeah.
And who was there?
Her parents.
So it'd be Lindsay's parents, Lindsay, Patrick, and the kids?
Yes.
And were you by yourself or with your wife?
I was with my wife.
And was there a specific point for everyone stopping by and gathering that day?
I don't recall that.
Okay. Were you and your wife checking in or helping out that day?
We might have just been going down to check on things.
Okay. Did you know that there were some struggles going on at that point?
I did.
And did you know that Lindsay was, specifically Lindsay was having some struggles at that point?
Yes.
Did you stop by again a few nights before Christmas?
I thought that's the night you were talking about. Yes, I guess we did.
Okay. And when you stopped by the night before Christmas, do you recall who was there that day?
I think the same people, but I'm not positive.
So Lindsay's parents, Lindsay, Patrick, and the kids?
Yes.
And what was Lindsay's demeanor that day?
It was okay. It wasn't terrible.
Do you recall testifying previously and saying that she seemed like she was in good spirits?
Yes.
Would that be accurate?
Yes.
And when you were there at the house that day, did you make plans for the following day for Christmas Day?
Yes, we made plans to go to Mass.
And who was going to go to Mass?
Lindsay, Patrick, the kids, my wife Sue, and me.
And did you all, the following day on Christmas, did you go over to Lindsay's home before going to Mass?
Yes.
Okay. Did you all gather for breakfast?
I don't recall.
And let me approach page 33. If you can just read to yourself lines 2 through 7, and then just look up when you're done.
Okay.
Take your time.
All right. Okay.
Does that refresh your memory, sir?
Yes.
So did you go over that day for breakfast?
Yes.
And how was Lindsay's demeanor that day?
It was good. She looked beautiful. She had a beautiful dress on.
And do you recall saying previously she seemed very happy that day?
Yes, she did.
And after breakfast, did everyone go to church as planned?
Yes.
And how were the children in church?
Fantastic.
Very well behaved.
Very well.
And then after church, did you have a conversation with Lindsay outside of the church?
I think we talked a little bit. I don't remember what we said, but we were going our separate ways.
Do you recall saying previously that Lindsay said she was glad she came and she really loved it?
Yes.
What was her demeanor while she was engaging with you after Mass?
She was quiet. She said that she liked the Mass and she was really happy that she went.
And do you recall saying before that, strike that, do you recall after that conversation, you guys hugged each other and went your separate ways?
Yes.
Did you see the family again after Christmas?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Did you go to Cora's birthday party?
No.
Was it more of a kids gathering at a trampoline place?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did you have plans to see them Tuesday, January 24th, 2023?
No.
Do you recall saying previously that there were plans to get together for dinner that night, but they changed because your wife had plans with her brother?
No, we never had plans to go there Tuesday night. They asked us to come to the Tuesday night, but we already had plans with Sue's sister Joan.
Okay, so there weren't set plans, but you were asked to come to their house that night?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you couldn't go because you had other plans?
Right, we were going to make it for Friday.
Thank you for clarifying that. In terms of your interaction with Lindsay and Patrick and the kids, while there were some struggles going on, did you and your wife offer to take the kids to your house overnight to kind of give them a break?
I did mention that to my son.
Okay. And was that offer declined?
Yes.
Okay. And going back to Thanksgiving of 2022, when you were interacting with Lindsay, I think you previously said that her demeanor was good, she was quiet. Did you also say at one point she had a little blankness to her at times?
She seemed to at times.
And can you tell us what that was?
Just like a stare.
Kind of staring off into the distance, distracted?
No, just not totally interacting, just sort of.
Okay. So at some points.
Almost like nervous, kind of like.
Nerves.
Almost just like, something like that.
Okay, so at some points she was staring a little bit, seemed a little nervous, but then in other times she was interacting with everyone as she normally would?
Pretty much.
Okay. You mentioned earlier when you were talking about Lindsay having a little bit of difficulty getting Dawson seated at Thanksgiving that he was being a little silly.
Yeah.
Was that typical for him to behave in that way?
Yeah, he was a handful, but he was good. He was a good boy.
Going back to the night of January 24th, 2023, at some point in time that night, did you get a phone call from Patrick?
In January?
January 24th, 2023.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, we did.
And what was his demeanor during that call?
Is this the night of the...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It was terrible.
And did you and your wife leave your home and head to the hospital to be with him?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Attorney Reddington.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Clancy, just a couple of questions. You were summoned to be here by the DA, is that correct?
Correct.
And you gave statements to whoever wanted statements. You were very cooperative with the investigation, is that right?
Yes.
And being as you're the, obviously, grandfather and father of Pat, over the years, from the time they were dating, engaged, married, kids, you and your wife were pretty close with both of them, were you not?
Yes.
Do you have an opinion as to how Lindsay was as a mother that you could see?
She was very, very good. She fed them great. She did a lot of things with them. They did like the all-American family.
And district attorney had asked you about Thanksgiving of 22, November 16th of 22, and she made reference, I think you had responded that she appeared to be quiet, and then she used the term, did you know about the struggles? Can you tell me what the struggles were? Do you know what she meant by that?
I knew.
Go to sidebar.
Sure, yeah.
Thank you, sir. I think I was asking you about the word "the struggles," and can you just tell the jury what was meant by the struggles?
I knew she was having a hard time sleeping. I knew she just didn't feel well. I know she had gone to the emergency room where my wife was working. Those types of struggles.
And just so, obviously for the record, your wife would be Sue?
Yes.
And she's a nurse, labor and delivery at South Shore?
Yes.
And did Lindsay confide, to your knowledge, yes or no, to your wife about some of her issues as a result of which your wife referred her to a person to speak to?
Yes.
Do you know who that person was?
I don't remember the person's name.
Okay, would that be the South Shore Perinatal, I think is what it's called?
Yes.
Okay. And understanding that you're the father-in-law, would you agree that the two of you and Lindsay, had a pretty good relationship?
Yes, very good.
And you told us about November 16th and then Thanksgiving of 22 and then up until Christmas and then after Christmas, and the time frame actually right up to January 24th, you guys were supposed to get together that night, right?
Correct. Well, no, we weren't. We were asked to come to dinner that night.
But you had other plans?
We had other plans.
Okay. District Attorney asked you about, on a number of occasions, about the time at your home. I think it was on Thanksgiving when Dawson was acting a little rambunctious or silly, and that she guided him to his seat. Was she, to your opinion and what you could observe, did you believe that she was being abusive to him at all?
No.
And you know her mother and father as well, correct?
Yeah.
And the four of you, the in-laws from both sides, you and your wife, Sue, and Lindsay's mother and father, both were all kind of pulling together to try to help this young couple out during that time frame, right?
Yes.
And your son, Patrick, he was very concerned about his wife, was he not?
He was.
And he confided in you on a number of occasions.
Yes.
I'm sorry, sir. Thank you.
Como?
Not the therapist who saw her weekly, reported serious concern after those conversations. Christopher Clancy, Patrick's father, testified about visiting the family throughout the fall and into December. He described Lindsay as quiet at Thanksgiving. He noticed what he called a blankness at times, a kind of vacant stare. He stepped in to help her when she was struggling to get Dawson seated at dinner. He described the Christmas morning before the murders as one of the last times he had seen her worn a beautiful dress. She had said she was glad she went to Mass. She said she really loved it. They hugged. They went their separate ways. He was invited to dinner on January 24th. He and his wife had other plans that night.
And directing your attention to Sunday, January 22nd, 2023, did you have a small gathering at your home?
Yes, their family came over to my house.
Okay. And when you say their family, are you talking about Patrick Clancy and Lindsay Clancy?
And Cora and Dawson, too.
Callan didn't join them?
No.
Was he home with Lindsay's parents?
Yes.
And what was the purpose of gathering that day?
To socialize. It was a nice day out. I was having a fire to burn some brush in my backyard, and thought it'd be nice to invite them to come over and get the kids out and enjoy a nice day.
And what was Lindsay's demeanor that day?
I'd say quieter than normal.
And do you recall saying previously that the weekend was fairly normal, that Lindsay had always been a little tough to get a beat on, kind of quiet, but you were in the kitchen talking and it seemed normal?
I mean, in the kitchen, we had a conversation, and that was normal.
Normal, okay. Do you recall describing the day previously as a perfectly normal afternoon, really nice?
It was a nice day, yeah.
Okay. And so there was nothing out of the normal that happened that day in terms of Lindsay's behavior or demeanor?
Her behavior, demeanor appeared normal.
Okay. Did you have any problems communicating with her when you had conversation in the kitchen?
No.
Okay. How long was the family there at your house that day?
Maybe a few hours.
And during that time, I believe you described it previously as a normal, great day. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Reddington?
I have no questions. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
A college friend of Patrick's had the family over to his home on January 22nd, 2 days before the children died. He described it as a perfectly normal afternoon. Lindsay was a little quieter than usual. In the kitchen, they had a conversation that seemed completely normal. He said it was a nice day, nothing stood out. State Police Sergeant Andrew Chiacchio testified about the investigative work that followed the night of January 24th. He obtained surveillance footage from a CVS in Kingston and from a restaurant called the 3V in Plymouth.
I have no problem with the phone.
No objection? Okay.
I'm just going to show you a document. Is that familiar to you?
Yes.
And is this the Facebook post posted by Lindsay Marie Clancy on 5/8/2021?
It is.
I'll move to admit this as the next exhibit.
No objection? That may be admitted.
Sergeant Chiacchio, just showing you what's now been marked as Exhibit 217 on the screen. Is that a Facebook post from the Attachment Parenting for Littles Facebook group?
Yes.
And through the information you received from the search warrant return, you were able to locate the content of this post in the records for the Attachment Parenting for Littles and confirm that it also appeared to be authored by Lindsay Marie Clancy, correct?
Correct.
Or by the Facebook page of Lindsay Marie Clancy.
Yes.
And fair to say it reads, "Hello, lovely parents. I'm looking for some advice, solidarity, ideas, something, anything. I'm truly finding my 19-month-old to be the most difficult human I've ever encountered. I mean that with all love in my heart, but I honestly cannot make it through a day without getting so frustrated with him. He's not my first child, so not to compare, because I know that every child is different, but just for background, this isn't my first rodeo. Every single thing with him is a battle, and it has been this way for a while, since he was maybe 8 months old. I really try to pick my battles and only do what's completely necessary, but I mean everything: getting out of his crib in the morning and going downstairs, changing his diaper, getting him dressed, getting him in his seat to eat, getting him in the car seat, getting him out of the car seat, putting on his jacket and shoes to go outside, having him come inside when it's time, going to sleep for his nap, and at night, he fights me every step of the way with all these normal daily activities. It constantly feels like I have to force him to do these things, which feels so wrong, but he is always fighting me and crying about doing these very normal things. You recall seeing that message in the records?
I do.
And fair to say there was some comments to the records and also an acknowledgement by the person with the Facebook page, Lindsay Marie Clancy, thanking the contributors for their advice.
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Mr. Reddington.
Good afternoon, sir.
So this would be Exhibit 217, which is the Parenting for Littles post by Lindsay, correct?
Correct.
And this was back in May of 2021?
Yes.
And she was talking about her son, who at the time was 19 months old?
That's correct.
Now, as a state police officer, you know how to investigate things, right?
Yes.
You guys must have turned things inside out to find out if Lindsay Clancy was ever abusive to her son, Dawson, right?
That's correct.
Found nothing, did you?
No.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Anything on that?
No.
Footage confirmed Patrick Clancy's movements earlier that evening, the timing of his errands, the route he took, the gap in time before he returned home. He also testified about a Facebook post investigators found through a search warrant. It had been written by Lindsay Clancy on May 8, 2021. She had posted it to a group called Attachment Parenting for Littles. Her youngest child, Dawson, was 19 months old at the time. She wrote about finding him the most difficult human she had ever encountered. She wrote that every single thing was a battle. Getting him out of his crib, changing his diaper, getting him dressed, getting him in his car seat, getting him out of his car seat, putting on his jacket and shoes.
I'll just stop, please, sir.
Sure.
Bringing him inside, every step of an ordinary day. She said it felt wrong to have to force him through these things. She asked for advice, for solidarity, for anything. Defense counsel's response was brief and direct. The state police had turned the investigation inside out looking for any evidence of abuse. They found nothing. The children were healthy, they were happy, they met their milestones. Their pediatrician had no concerns. Their teachers had no concerns. No mandated reporter ever filed a report. Lindsay Clancy was not hiding violence. She was, by every account available to the people around her, a loving mother who was quietly coming apart. That is the part that makes this case so difficult to hold. Postpartum psychiatric illness does not always announce itself. It does not always create visible symptoms that a pediatrician notices at a well visit or that a teacher catches during a pickup. It can coexist with a beautiful dress on Christmas morning and a hopeful text message and a normal afternoon at a neighbor's house. The people who testified about Lindsay Clancy in that courtroom were not lying. They were telling the truth as they had experienced it. And the truth they experienced was that she was tired, she was struggling, she was seeking help, and she seemed hopeful. What she did not tell them, what she told almost no one, was how dark it had actually gotten. The dark thoughts she mentioned to her childhood friend only days before everything happened were described in a single text message and never elaborated on. She was tapering off a medication. She was hopeful. She was also, within days, charged with murdering all 3 of her children and attempting to take her own life. The system around her had contact with her at nearly every level. Her psychiatrist knew. Her nurse practitioner knew. She had been to McLean Hospital. She had called a crisis line twice. And yet the people closest to her in daily life, the pediatrician, the teachers, the friends, were each holding a different piece of a picture that no one had assembled. That is not an accusation. It is a description of how institutional frameworks around mental health operate in practice. The psychiatric system has one file. The pediatrician has another. The preschool teacher has none. The childhood friend has a text thread. Nobody had the whole picture. And the law does not require them to. What it does require is that a jury look at what happened inside that house on January 24th and decide, using the full weight of the evidence, the medical testimony, the psychiatric history, and the accounts of everyone who knew her, whether what Lindsay Clancy did was a crime in the legal sense, and if so, what kind. The defense will argue that what happened was the product of a psychotic break, driven by medication, sleep deprivation, and a psychiatric crisis that the system around her failed to adequately treat. The prosecution will argue that the choices made that night, however tragic the circumstances, constitute criminal conduct. Both sides agree on what the photographs show. Both sides agree on what the medical examiner found. Both sides agree that 3 children died. The question the jury will have to answer is whether the woman who picked Cora up off that cot on January 23rd, who said, "Oh, baby, let's go get Dawson and go home," was the same woman who acted that night, or whether something had overtaken her entirely. And if it had, the harder question is this: at what point did the people and institutions responsible for her care have enough information